Hello everybody, my name is Jared and today's video is going to be an art video. This video is going to be me attempting the Meet the Artist tag. I have done the Meet the Artist tag before, but I didn't record it on my YouTube, so I thought I would share the process of the 2021 version, because some things have changed, some of my opinions have changed, and I also just look different, so why not redraw it? First I thought I'd check in with everybody. How is everyone coping in the current climate? I have mentioned a few times that I am in lockdown 3 now in the UK. Sorry, I was just double checking mentally how many lockdowns we've been in. But I am in lockdown 3. As of recording this, it is just the end of January. So yeah, things have been pretty slow on my end. I've just been trying to get ahead of the game on my comic and setting up my websites. A few people have asked if I was going to be doing like physical versions of my art that you could buy, and I have actually set up an Etsy, and I've also set up a Redbubble, so if people do want stuff like that, they can head over there and yeah, purchase stuff. I do really appreciate all the people who've shown an interest in stuff like that. Yeah, thank you so much. I'm still in the process of trying to figure out how these like physical versions of my art sort of things go. If there are more products that you guys would be interested in seeing, do let me know. I'm currently working on setting up buttons and I'm setting up prints and stuff like that, so yeah, just if you do feel like you'd be interested in stuff like that, drop it in the comments below and I can try and figure out what I'd be able to do for you guys. As you can see at this point, I am just sketching out the outlines and kind of the more detailed sketch of my self-portrait for this one. I always find it's really difficult to get a self-portrait to actually look like me. I think I have quite a strange face, so when I'm drawing myself, I always feel like it just only kinda resembles me. I think I just need to study from my own face a little bit more. When I was younger, I used to pretty much exclusively draw from my own face as a reference, so a lot of my characters ended up starting to look like me. So I started avoiding drawing myself pretty aggressively, and then yeah, it's got to the point where I actually can't draw myself. I think it's just testament to the fact that if you are struggling with something, you don't want to go in the complete opposite direction from what you are finding comfortable. I remember when I first started learning to draw, I would really aggressively only draw boys, and then I went through a phase of trying to force myself to draw girls, but it meant that I only drew girls, so then I forgot how to draw boys again. So yeah, I recommend don't getting too extreme on any sort of angle, but definitely study. One of the things that really helped me with trying to figure out the pose on this one was literally just trying to take a picture in this pose. The pose, I was trying to look really relaxed and kind of like slumped, but it was just looking really weird and stiff, so I just kept trying and then used a reference, and then eventually I kind of figured out how it was supposed to go. As you can see, I've got all of my most commonly used supplies and items in this one. Behind me I've got 2 of my favourite cushions. I have Jeremy, which is a shark that belongs to my fiance, and I also have one of my favourite tartan cushions from our sofa. They are the 2 comfiest cushions in the house. I have my easel and canvas. I'm working on easel a lot lately. I'm trying to get used to working kind of bigger and working kind of broader with my paint. So yeah, that's been really fun, trying to experiment with creating really big pieces. And I've also got my mason jar, which I keep my water in for when I'm painting. It's not for drinking. But yeah, so I have a mason jar for that because it just makes life a little bit easier. Saves me going back and forth for cups and things like that. I also have my iPad Pro and my Apple Pencil. My Apple Pencil is the version 3, and my iPad Pro, I believe, is the 12.9, and it's, I think, Gen 3. So yeah, those are the kind of digital tools that I use most. I honestly don't really use my actual computer to draw lately. I need to get back in the habit of it, but after getting an iPad, my tablet has become quite difficult for me to use. It's just purely because it's not a screen tablet. I just really struggle with non-screen tablets. Oh, just because people were curious, I do use Procreate to do all of my drawings on my iPad, You will actually see eventually when I start doing the like flats and colours, I put a little tiny version of Procreate on my screen. I've got my sketchbook there, that's a Moleskine, I believe it's a 4 size, and then I've got Biro next to that because that is probably the most common thing that I use to draw in my sketchbook. I like to keep things really rough in my sketchbook, so I don't really use pencil that often. And I've also got my Miyahime gouache, I've got my watercolours which are Winsor & Newton, and I've also got some paintbrushes. They are just generic cheap paintbrushes, I don't use expensive ones. So yeah, when I was inking, I actually use a kind of textured brush on Procreate. I just wanted to try it out, honestly. How I do the line art for this one is I actually line the entire thing, then I duplicate that layer, and then I just blur one of those layers very slightly. It's the layer that's beneath that's blurred. And then, yeah, that's my line art. Obviously you then squish them together. Flat colouring wise, it's pretty simple. I just use the lasso tool to select all of the area that I want to fill in, so the whole of my body and things like that. And then I use the lasso tool again to isolate the different colours when I'm filling them in. If you turn the big blob colour that's the whole of the body to a reference layer, you can just circle the bits that you want to use and it will do that without going outside the lines. I just try to use very accurate colours to what I actually wear and also what my actual colouring is like. I am very fair skinned. I'm very pale. The reason for that is, one, just genetics, but also I don't go out pretty much. I think the only times I've left the house during the quarantines have been to go to dentist or doctor's appointments. My fiance is still working, so he does go out, but I am pretty much exclusively stuck in the house, so I'm very pale right now. I also, obviously I have blue eyes, and the hair colour is like my dirty blonde colour, because my hair can't decide if it's brown or blonde. I've got my cat ear headphones, one of my favourite harnesses which kind of spices up my outfits a little bit more, my ripped up skinny jeans, and my stripy top and a plain black t-shirt. I did put a little bit of a background into it just because I liked the graphic style of what I was doing before, but I don't know, it just, with the cushions and stuff, it looked like it was actually in my room, so I thought I should probably just change things up and make it actually look like my room. So there we go. Though my wall is actually yellow, so I stuck one of my paintings onto the canvas. I thought that would look really interesting, and I also added some of my interests, details about myself, that kind of stuff onto the top. If you look hard enough, you can see that on the iPad is actually a drawing of a character who is going to be coming into my comic very soon. His name is Elashan. If you want to know more about him, you can read my comic I Am a Criminal, or you can actually go onto my Patreon where you can see pages way earlier than anybody else can. I actually post them as soon as I finish them on there, and yeah, it's very exciting. There's a lot of really cool characters in I Am a Criminal, and yeah, I really hope people will give it a go and have a read of it. It's actually been going really well. All the people reading it have seemed to be really enjoying it, and everyone's been so kind. I've had a lot of really kind words about my art and about characters and stuff, so yeah, I'm enjoying the community over there. So if you do have an interest in any of my art, feel free to go over and have a little read of my comic or join us on Patreon. Now when it comes to shading, my shading technique is very simple. I use a very light purple on a multiply layer, and then I go through all of my little coloured sections to lay those colours down. I also add a little bit of blush onto my cheeks and details like my eyes and stuff like that. I do white pupils quite a lot lately. I'm not sure why. It just kind of started happening. I think it looks nice. So that is the finished illustration. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, please remember to be creepy. And why don't you tell me about your most used art supplies in the description below, or you can drop a comment and tell me stuff that you'd like to see on my Etsy or on my Redbubble account.